Clint Eastwood is a legendary Hollywood actor, director, and producer who's managed to maintain a hefty amount of respect over the course of his long career. He's also managed to make a name for himself in politics, alongside such iconic figures as Ronald Reagan and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Despite the icon's largely positive reputation, there have been some dark moments in his past. One of the darkest episodes that has loomed over his life is his former relationship with actress Sondra Locke. Join Factsverse as we explore Clint Eastwood's toxic relationship with Sondra Locke. Just like Clint Eastwood, Sondra Locke was a multi-talented Hollywood player. She was an actress, producer, director, and also a talented singer who could perform her own songs on film. Despite her immense talent, her legacy has been greatly overshadowed by the tumultuous 13-year relationship she shared with Clint throughout the 70s and 80s. Since the recent announcement of Sondra's death, more and more people have become curious about what exactly went down between the two stars. Sondra starred alongside Clint in a number of features, starting with 1976's The Outlaw Josey Wales. It was on the set of this film that the couple began developing personal chemistry, and this personal relationship led to many more professional roles together. Other Clint Eastwood features that Sondra can be seen in include The Gauntlet, Every Which Way But Loose, Any Which Way You Can, Sudden Impact, and Bronco Billy. Any Which Way You Can was a sequel to Every Which Way But Loose, and Sondra was given numerous opportunities to sing throughout both films. Despite the massive amount of on-screen chemistry the two shared, Sondra and Clint's relationship was never quite as perfect as it may have seemed on the surface. In fact, it's come to be known as one of the most toxic and notorious relationships in Hollywood history. It was a relationship ripe with both personal and professional abuse, and it ended in a series of disastrous lawsuits that surprisingly had very little impact on Clint's reputation. Sondra Locke was born Sondra Louise Smith on May 28, 1944. She was born in Shelby, Tennessee. Her father was a soldier named Raymond Smith, who ended up leaving Sondra's mother, a factory worker named Pauline Bain. Pauline eventually found a new husband in Alfred Locke, a practicing carpenter. It was this man who truly raised Sondra and who she eventually decided to take her professional last name from. Sondra was always an outsider at school, finding it hard to fit in with the majority of her peers. One of the only friends she maintained in the early days was a young boy named Gordon Anderson. Gordon was an effeminate boy and eventually came out to Sondra as gay. However, the two decided to marry in 1967 for social reasons. Despite Sondra being romantically involved with other people after their marriage, the two never officially divorced. Sondra was married to Gordon until her death in 2018. Sondra made her entrance into the entertainment industry via a talent competition sponsored by Warner Brothers. The young lady easily bested the competition, securing herself her first role in a feature film. That was 1968's The Heart is a Lonely Hunter, and Sondra's dramatic performance caught the attention of both critics and audiences. Her performance even garnered her an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress. After her breakout performance in The Heart is a Lonely Hunter, Sondra could be seen in a few more notable feature films, before eventually forming a personal and professional partnership with Clint Eastwood. Some of the films Sondra could be seen in during the early 70s included Willard and Cover Me Babe. She first met Clint in 1972, while campaigning for a role in his feature film Breezy. She didn't make the cut for that film due to being a little too old for the character, but Clint remembered Sondra and eventually invited her to star in The Outlaw Josey Wales. After the success of The Outlaw Josey Wales, Sondra and Clint entered into a personal and professional relationship. But it soon took a dark turn. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you give it a like and subscribe to Factsverse if you haven't already. And stick around for more about their tumultuous relationship. As we've established, Sondra was already married to a gay man at the time she met Clint Eastwood, and she stayed married to him over the course of her 13-year relationship with Clint. However, Clint was also married when he met Sondra. He was married to Maggie Johnson, and he didn't divorce her until he had already been with Sondra for 9 years. However, they did eventually get divorced. Sondra and Clint hit it off on the set of The Outlaw Josey Wales and became inseparable for the next 13 years, even moving in together. Their personal and professional relationship seemed to be going okay for a number of years, but many details have since come to light that have made people question whether the relationship was ever truly as healthy as it appeared. One big issue that has come to light is the fact that Clint forced Sondra to use a natural form of birth control that wasn't entirely effective. While this method inevitably resulted in Sondra getting pregnant, Clint forced her to get an abortion so the two of them could maintain their adventurous social lifestyle. He forced Sondra to get 2 abortions during the course of their 13-year relationship, all the while cheating on her with other women. According to Sondra, the reason Clint was so picky about her preferred method of birth control was that the IUD she had been using when she met him caused discomfort when they made love. And both stars had issues with other traditional methods of birth control, believing the health consequences of birth control pills outweighed their benefits. Because of this, Sondra was sent to a naturopath clinic that helped her learn the rhythm method for birth control. This requires understanding the menstrual cycle and only having intercourse at times where pregnancy is unlikely or impossible. While many have had success with this method, it's not as effective as others. Hence, Sondra ended up becoming pregnant twice. Another issue that arose over the course of Clint and Sondra's relationship was the fact that Sondra wasn't content with always playing second fiddle to Clint. While roles in films such as Every Which Way But Loose and Bronco Billy helped her gain more mainstream recognition, she had an artistic itch that these performances couldn't scratch. Clint tried to help Sondra exercise her creativity, producing her 1986 directorial debut, Rat Boy. Despite being considered a cult classic today, the film was both a critical and financial failure at the time of its release. It's not clear what specific incident ended Clint and Sondra's relationship, but there were numerous factors working against them. Sadly, the relationship didn't end amicably, with Sondra ending up locked out of their Hollywood home. Sondra sued Clint for palimony, but ended up settling out of court. Part of the settlement involved Clint getting Sondra a production deal with Warner Brothers. But nothing ever came of the deal. When it became apparent the production deal was simply a ruse to try to keep Sondra out of court, she attempted to sue him once again, this time for fraud. Sadly, this case ended up being settled out of court as well. Around the time Sondra was suing Clint for palimony, she was diagnosed with breast cancer and had to undergo a double mastectomy as well as chemotherapy. This was certainly a dark period for Sondra, but there was a light at the end of the tunnel, in the form of a new love interest named Scott Cunene. Scott was one of her surgeons. Sondra's directorial career never quite recovered after her multiple court battles with Clint, but she did resume her acting career later on. In 1999, she starred in 2 feature films, but neither garnered a theatrical release. She didn't act again until 2017, starring in the Alan Rudolph film Ray Meets Helen. Her performance proved to be her final role, and she died a year later from a cardiac arrest related to her breast cancer. After all she had been through, it was a miracle she was able to accomplish as much as she did before her death at age 74. Now it's time to hear from you. Comment down below to share what your favorite role from the actress's career was. Or if you're one of the many people who think that 1986's Rat Boy didn't get a fair shake upon its release. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.